Hello, my name is Christy, and I'm going to tell you my Nancy Thompson story and what she means to me. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always loved A Nightmare on Elm Street. I've always had this love-hate relationship with it. Now, I never fully saw the first one until many years later, but I saw the second one and the sixth one a couple of times, and that was my extent of A Nightmare on Elm Street knowledge. So I was basically just a Freddy fan at the time. And my friend and I would always sing 1, 2, Freddy's Coming for You. And whenever the original would come on, because it would come on every now and then, but I only got to see the ending, and I was terrified of it. I would always flip back and forth, but I still loved it nevertheless, and Freddy was my favorite villain. So I lived life, most of my life, just like that. Until one year, a few summers ago, I went with my family to Western Ohio, and we went to this little town. It was a nice, little, homely little town, and we spent the night at a hotel. But before we went inside to get our rooms, my father took a picture of me next to a water tower, and apparently this town was noted for its water tower. So I took the picture, we went inside, and I went to sleep. That night, I had a dream that Freddy was chasing me. Now, this dream didn't seem much like any other dream. It was very realistic, and it was very strange because I'd had a lot of Freddy dreams as it is, and this one just seemed to stand out. And before the dream ended, he called me Nancy, and I thought to myself, who's this Nancy? And I woke up with this question in my head, and I was obsessed with A Nightmare on Elm Street. And so I was thinking about it, and I thought that when we go home, I want to rent the movies. I want to rent something A Nightmare on Elm Street. And as we were leaving, I looked out the window at the water tower, and we were on a street which was right next to it, and the street was called Elm Street. And with my newfound obsession, I was very excited about this. So I went home, I rented a few of the movies, my obsession grew, and I finally got the box set, and I finally got to see A Nightmare on Elm Street 1 all the way through, and I found Nancy. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this is the girl that Freddy called me in my dream. And I was baffled because I don't ever remember Nancy. I didn't ever remember her because I'd only seen a little bit of the end, and that was really special. And so I began to have a huge fandom growing for Nancy, a huge love for Nancy grow. So one year I wanted to be Nancy for Halloween, and I got my little costume together, and I printed out a picture because I knew a lot of people wouldn't know who Nancy Thompson was. And sure enough, when I went to school, they asked me, who are you supposed to be? I said, I'm supposed to be Nancy Thompson from A Nightmare on Elm Street. And they said, who's that? And so I showed them the picture, and they said, wow, this is a good costume for you. You look a lot like her. And I said, well, thank you. So that night, I was very honored from all the compliments I got. So I took a few pictures of myself as Nancy, and I didn't put them on the internet until a few months later. And so then I finally did. I got some fan response from Nightmare on Elm Street fans, and they gave me a lot of compliments, and I was really happy about that. Then I was Nancy again for Halloween, the next Halloween, and I drew the flowers on because it was just a real quick costume I threw together. And I got more compliments from fans and from friends as I put more pictures up of that Halloween. And then I began to edit the photos and do a lot with them, and I started a whole lot of Nancy cosplay. I began to get into this cosplay, which is basically costume playing. For those of you who don't know, it's basically paying tribute to this character, and I was paying tribute to Nancy. My life is devoted to paying tribute to Nancy because every day I get on this computer and I check how everything's doing. I'm looking up YouTube videos, and I'm watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm trying to find something to do. I'm working on new costumes because Nancy deserves so much. There's so much Freddy out there that Nancy needs to be out there because she deserves it. She's such a powerful character. Freddie is terrified of her, to think about it. He hates her because she's so powerful, because she was the first to stand up to him. And she is the powerhouse. She's determined. And he is intimidated. This dream killer with unlimited dream skills is terrified of this girl, and that's just so fantastic to think about. That just says a lot about her character, a lot about the power and the strength that she has within her. And it's great just to watch her on the screen. I feel this connection and this inspiration. She's just this powerful force to reckon with, and I'm in such awe of her. She's a fantastic character. I don't even want to call her a character because she's much more than that. She feels so real to me, and even though she's on the screen and even though she was on a page and Wes created her, she would not have been anything without Heather Langenkamp. And I thank you, Heather, for all that you've done with Nancy, for making this documentary possible, and for putting your efforts into everything that you do, because we Nancy fans really appreciate it, because especially for someone like me, Nancy means a lot, and to have her out there and to have more Nancy is really what this world needs. And in watching the trailer for I Am Nancy, I really felt that I shared a lot of the ideas that Nancy, we need a Nancy doll, a Nancy figure, something. And I know a lot of fans who I would buy everything Nancy. I know a lot of fans who would do it. We need it because Nancy deserves it. She deserves a lot more than what she's been given thus far. And I support her. She is my heart and soul. She is my core. I live my life with Nancy as my light. And I know all I do may confuse people, but I do not think I'm Nancy Thompson. I don't think I'm Heather Langenkamp. I don't believe any of that. In fact, I just use that name just to be sort of like, so people get an idea of what I do. But every time people have mistaken me for Heather, I've told them that no, I'm not Heather, I'm just a fan. Even when they try to play along with me, role-playing, oh, hey, Nancy, I love Nancy, I've told them. Now, I just want you to know that I'm not, in fact, Heather, nor do I think I'm Heather. So I'm just clarifying that. Nancy Thompson of Elm Street is just my name, just the name I work with, but it is not who I think I am. I'm just a fan that pays tribute to my favorite character of all time. And I will continue to live my life with Nancy as my light, because she is a fantastic, fantastic person. So thank you all for listening. I am a Nancy fan, and I'm proud of it. Go Nancy. As she said once, whatever you do, don't fall asleep. But even if you did, I have no doubt that, like many others before you, Nancy will be there to guide you in the world of Freddy Krueger. Go Nancy. We love you.